The Zhiyun Smooth 5 is here, and for the last couple of weeks I have put it through its paces, and in this video we will answer the question, is this the perfect smartphone gimbal? Well, let's find out. Hey, what's up guys, Julian from SmartphoneFilmmakingPro.com here, the ultimate online course about smartphone filmmaking. The Zhiyun Smooth 4 has been the favorite smartphone gimbal for so many people. And just a little fun fact, Zhiyun Smooth 4 has been the #1 keyword for my YouTube channel. The Smooth 4 has been great, but to be really honest, it has never been my favorite gimbal. It was very huge and the balancing part felt kind of outdated. So let's find out if the Zhiyun Smooth 5 has improved on all those areas that are most important to us smartphone filmmakers. And in the next couple of days there will be many more videos coming that are covering the Zhiyun Smooth 5, so make sure to hit that subscribe button to not miss any of those videos. But first off, let's see what you get inside the box when you buy this gimbal. You get a nice looking case that you can use for transportation, you get a little table tripod that you can mount onto your gimbal, you get a USB to USB Type-C cable to charge the gimbal, and of course you get the gimbal itself. The packaging content is basically the same with all gimbals these days. The transportation case is a little big for my personal liking, but at least it secures your shiny new gimbal. Next up, what is it like using the gimbal? I think especially comparing it to its predecessor, the Smooth 4, this one is just much easier to use and much more intuitive. Also with the balancing, it just feels much more natural and it's just easier to understand in my opinion. Oh, and by the way, there will be a full video on the balancing process for this gimbal coming very soon. The gimbal itself still has a lot of different buttons, but they are much more organized in my opinion. Something that I really like is the mode switching button. This is something that I'm always complaining about on the DJI gimbals. This is really cool on this one here. It's pretty similar to the Zhiyun Smooth Q3, but here on the Smooth 5 you can even pick between more modes directly on the gimbal without having to switch into the ZY Cami app, and that's a huge benefit for me personally. Generally speaking, I just felt very quickly very comfortable using this gimbal. That's something that never happened with the Smooth 4. No matter how often I took it out there and how often I shot with it, I never really got warm with it. I used the Smooth 5 for several different shoots, and all the B-roll shots that you are seeing throughout this video were shot using this combination right here, and it performed extremely well. The entire gimbal is a little more sturdy compared to its competition, and I also feel like the motors are stronger compared to all the other smartphone gimbals that are out there. I tested it with the 13 Pro that you can see right here that weighs 204 grams, and I also put on add-on lenses to the phone, and this worked flawlessly. I also tested it with the 13 Pro and some big ass ND and diffusion filters, and it also handled it like a champ without any issues. I do not own an iPhone 13 Pro Max or a Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra or some of those flagships that are super heavy. However, I do own a Honor Magic 3 Pro Plus that is even bigger than the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I used this with an add-on lens, and I also had no issues at all. On paper the payload is 280 grams maximum, but I feel like the motors are way stronger compared to the DJI OM5 for example. So like I said, I've tested it with this setup and also with add-on lenses, and I had no issues at all, but I cannot confirm that it will work with those super heavy phones. You can access low mode just by turning the entire gimbal upside down. This works no problem at all, and overall the shots are looking very smooth. I think it's pretty hard to say like this gimbal is smoother than another one, because it always depends on the phone that you're using, the lens that you're using, and also the environment, like is it windy and how how's the surface looking that you are walking on, and how good is your ninja walk, and how good in general are you as a person filming the shot. I've used gimbals a ton in the last couple of years, and I feel like I can get almost perfect shots with pretty much all of the ones that are out there. And also the Zhiyun Smooth 5 is no exception to this one. I got perfect looking shots, and I think you will too. But before we will cover the buttons and all the rest in more detail, I would like to talk very briefly about Smartphone Filmmaking Pro. In case you want to step up your smartphone video quality, we have a totally free 30-minute webinar for you guys where I share the top 5 secrets to shooting professional videos with your smartphone. It's the first link below that like button. You can sign up for free, you can enjoy it, and I'll see you in the webinar. But now, let's talk about all the different buttons that the gimbal has and what they do. And at the bottom right here, you have a little joystick, and basically you can turn it into any direction and the phone will follow the direction that you're panning it to you. So you can pan and tilt your phone into any direction that you want. Right next to it, there is a little button with a red dot on it, and this is the record button. So when you have connected your phone to the gimbal, you can use this record button to start and stop your recordings. Above the record button, you have a mode button, and this is something that I absolutely love about the new Zhiyun gimbals. You can pick between, I think here are 6 or 7 different modes that you can access right onto the gimbal. And for this, you do not have to use the ZY Cami app or Filmic Pro or something like this. You can just pick between the different modes just by pressing the mode button, and you can also see in which mode you are currently in. There is a little display at the top. This is something that I absolutely like, and this is something that I think every gimbal should have. Above that, you have a little circle, and depending on where you press on the circle, you can access different things. At the bottom, you have a playback button, so you can watch all the clips that you have already shot. At the left, you can access different display modes. And at the right, you can change between the different ISOs that your phone has to offer. And at the left, you can access the menu when you're using the ZY Cami app or when you're in Filmic Pro. But we will talk about the Filmic Pro integration just in a minute. On the left of the gimbal, there is the iconic wheel to change focus. So you can use the gimbal and place your left hand onto the side, and then you can manually change the focus and also the zoom. This is a really cool feature that only the Smooth 4, so the predecessor of this gimbal, had to offer, and I know that many of you love this feature. At the back of the gimbal, you have a lock button, so when you're transporting your gimbal, you can lock all the different axes so that it's not, wobbling around in your case. And at the bottom here, you have a little button. If you press it twice, then the gimbal will go back to its, default position. And if you tap it 3 times, then it will turn around so that you can film yourself. Tap it 3 times again, then it switches. And if we tap it 4 times, then it does nothing. So you can tap it twice or 3 times to access different modes. And at the right here, you can turn it on and off, and you have a little function button that you can program for whatever that you like. Another really cool aspect about the Zhiyun Smooth 4 has always been the integration into Filmic Pro. And I've got some good news here, the implementation continues. So if you are a Filmic Pro shooter, which is a very recommendable thing to do because with the app you can get the absolute most out of your smartphone, you again have the proper integration with the Smooth 5 here. And this means that all the different buttons that you have on the gimbal that we just talked about, they will work in the Filmic Pro app, and that is just a really cool thing to do. So when you're inside of Filmic Pro, you can use the focus wheel, you can use the function button, and you can basically use all the different buttons that the gimbal has. And shooting with the iPhone 13 Pro here, for example, in ProRes and having full control with the gimbal, well, that is pretty much a dream combo in my opinion. So overall, the thoughts on the gimbal are very positive. I tested it for a couple of weeks and I did not really have any issues when I was testing it. And considering this is just a pre-production model, this is really cool. And a huge thanks to Zhiyun for sending this gimbal my way, but as always, they did not tell me what I have to say, they did not pay me, they did just send this my way to make some videos for you guys. So everything that you're hearing throughout this video and throughout all the other videos is 100% my true and honest opinion. So just to get that out of the way. In case you're interested in that gimbal, in case you want to get it for yourself, in the description you can find a link to buy the gimbal for yourself with a 10% discount link. And if you guys have any further questions, make sure to let me know. And like I said at the beginning, there will be more content about this gimbal coming very soon. So if you have any specific questions, make sure to let me know. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one.